Thanks for being here for my live. How to end Trumpism. Ending Trumpism. I was just about to give it a clever title like that, and I just hit go live instead, so here we are. Live. Unlike Mitch McConnell, unlike Lindsey Graham. I think what people are failing to realize is that when Andy Beshear, the governor of Tennessee or Kentucky, wherever Mitch McConnell's from, is somebody people have suggested would run for president. He's not even replacing Mitch McConnell with a senator who would impeach Trump. Like, it's not that hard. Hold on. I'm gonna let the dog in. Be right back. I know nobody's here anyway in the first few minutes, so let's burn those minutes away, Net and YouTube. You wasteful piece of shit. Okay. I just had an insight I will gladly share with you. Let me blow my nose first. Okay. I think my insight goes like this. Death is true. Like, there's something true about death. Let's see. There's something true about death. Death is true, or there's something true about death. Just means, I mean, you can lie about it, They're trying to lie about it, but death is true. The thing that you say that denies somebody's death, or if you're denying somebody's death, that's kind of makes you a murderer. It's not just a lie, but it's kind of a murder to deny someone's death or cover up someone's death. Because death is true. It's just a true thing. Everything's true in a way, but the thing that's true within everything is death. You could say love is true too. Within everything and true. But these people lying about death, like, they're not going to get away with it. I think this shirt is just hot. I think it might be this shirt. It's extremely hot. Okay. So, these people lying about death makes me wonder. They're lying about Mitch McConnell being dead. It seems like Mitch McConnell's super dead, been dead, and the longer they lie about it, kind of the more they win, the stupider we seem or prove that we are by accepting their lies. And that goes with all their other lies too. Let me see if I can just change it up by not having this shirt on, honestly. It's too fucking hot, and it's like sticking to me. Maybe if I have another shirt on, that'd be better. But I don't see another shirt handy. I think we're just gonna like... Oh, that's pants. Here, I'll do this. I'll look like... I don't know. I don't know what this is. Anyway. Denying death is foolish. It will come back to haunt you in the end. They're denying all these deaths of all the people they've murdered in Palestine. Now they're denying these high-profile deaths like Mitch McConnell. I thought Netanyahu and Ben Gvir had been killed. Like, I guess maybe in a way that was to diffuse things. Like, I've been cursing Trump, Putin, Netanyahu. And then I kind of started leaving Netanyahu out of it because I was like, well, that bitch is dead. So, I don't know. Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham are dead. I've been cursing Modi lately in place of Netanyahu, and the Cockroach Party seems poised to overthrow him. So, thanks, Cockroach Party. Like, you guys are awesome. I guess we could just support the Cockroach Party for a while. I've got a hat over here. I could try that. And there's a cat. There's always a cat. The cat is the central feature of the live streams. I don't know what this cat wants out of the live streams. She's always just does her own thing. No matter what else happens. I guess maybe she's trying to protect me from the live stream. I should just shut the live stream off. Obey the cat. Get a shirt. Yeah, probably I'll just do that. That makes more sense. I'll obey the cat. Get a shirt. Shut off the live stream. Let dead people be dead. Let liars who lie about dead people continue to lie about them. Because the dead people should know to haunt those people. The dead people should know to haunt Trump and Netanyahu and Putin and the people who keep killing them. They don't need me for that. You know, a presumptive you, a potential audience that doesn't exist, you know, currently, that may exist in the future, can potentially learn from the fact that, like, you know, stop killing yourselves, MAGA. Stop killing everyone else, MAGA. Stop being a parasite, you know, stop being an infestation. Trump-Putineers. Like, I think I should just call them all Trump-Putineers. Like, Zionists are Trump-Putineers too. Russians who support Putin are Trump-Putineers too. Like, you might know that Putin rules over Trump and you laugh at it all or whatever, but Putin and Trump rule you. Like, you might accept that Putin rules you and think that you're also ruling over Trump, but Trump rules you. Like, you're the one subject to Trump. You're all Trump-Putineers. I used to call people in America Trump-Putineers. If they were part of this Trump-Putin network. But now I think we should call all of them Trump-Putiners. We should call Zionists Trump-Putiners too, whether they're Israeli or Christian nationalists or Russians. We should call them Trump-Putiners because Trump-Putiners is the worst insult you can make against anyone. Fun weekend plans? YouTube wants to know. YouTube wants to know if you have any fun weekend plans. YouTube doesn't want to know if you want to stop the genocide. It's never been a suggested question that YouTube comes up with. Do you want to stop the genocide? YouTube is never succeeding in asking, do you want to stop the genocide? Just not something YouTube's ever thought of asking anybody. They've never said, hey, here was a question we could ask people. Do you want to stop the genocide? They've asked if you have fun weekend plans. They'll do that. They'll ask if you have fun weekend plans. They won't ask if you want to stop the genocide. That's not something they'll usually ask. YouTube never doesn't seem to usually just ask people, hey, do you want to stop the genocide? And is war bad? Would you end the impacts on the world of greedy people if you could? Would you seize the companies that funded Trump's ballroom? Would you like to seize the companies that fund Trump's ballroom? Would you like to give automatic citizenship to everyone ICE contacted and give them the homes of the ICE agents? Because you're going to be putting the ICE agents in prison for life and anybody who enabled them in prison for life for their crimes. You don't see Net and YouTube asking people questions like that. Why don't you see Net and YouTube asking people questions like that? Because Net and YouTube sucks. Let me see if this is still equipped. It is. Here we go. So now we're just going to end up just making fun of Net and YouTube, I guess. We'll make fun of Net and YouTube. We'll make fun of Trump-Putiners. The ones that have died, that they admit have died, like Lindsey Graham, everybody's coming out and like telling their stories about Lindsey Graham now. Because, well, they were ready to throw him under the bus. I think it's interesting, the theories about Lindsey Graham. Let me go over what the theories about Lindsey Graham are so far. One is that they killed him in Russia in a drone factory. You heard the theory that they killed Lindsey Graham in Russia in a drone factory? Oh, you just found this live? You were just scrolling by and you found it? So you heard that they killed Lindsey Graham in Russia in a drone factory? The audio's on, right? You can hear what I'm saying? You heard this theory that they killed Lindsey Graham in a drone factory in Ukraine? That Russia killed Lindsey Graham in a drone factory in Ukraine? Did you hear that theory? Okay, here's some permutations on the theory. You've heard it now, right? You know what we're talking about. You can go ahead and leave reactions. You can just tap the reactions or leave more emojis in the chat. He's this dead Nazi guy. He's a dead Trumper. Some Trumper that died. They said he died of a heart attack. But the heart attack could have been caused by actually being killed in a drone factory. Because he was visiting a drone factory in Ukraine. And then he supposedly died the next day. But he could have potentially been killed. For instance, if he was blown up in a drone factory, then they wouldn't be able to have like an open casket of him because he would have been blown up, or he would be really fake when they had one. Then they could have like poisoned him. Like Russia could have poisoned him. They could have like trailed him to the drone factory to find out where it was, so they targeted it, against Lindsey Graham's knowledge. And then they could have poisoned him, and then he died. And then they bombed the drone factory. So the things we know is that Lindsey Graham was in this drone factory, that Lindsey Graham was dead by the next day, at least, and that the Russians bombed that drone factory the next day. Those things I think are indisputable. I haven't even checked up on the drone factory story yet, but it's either true or it isn't, right? So Lindsey Graham's dead. That's almost certainly true. The other option for Lindsey Graham not being dead, there's a possibility that Lindsey Graham's not dead. That possibility is that he transitioned, that he's his sister now, and he's going to continue serving out. It's like Miss Nelson is missing. I like using Miss Nelson is missing to describe anything I can. So if Lindsey Graham is actually trans, has transitioned to be his sister now, and is still alive, yeah, that's the one way that he would not be dead. But most likely, he is dead because, I mean, he's Lindsey Graham. So they could have killed him because they were lying about Mitch McConnell and they wanted to keep their lie up by acting like we told the truth about Lindsey Graham. That was kind of my hot take when he died. But then I heard this thing about the drone factory and how Lindsey Graham was either helping Russia target that drone factory or he was unintentionally helping Russia target that drone factory. It doesn't seem like a coincidence that they bombed the drone factory the day after Lindsey Graham visited. So Lindsey Graham either helped Russia target it or Lindsey Graham was tailed to the drone factory. They followed him. Russia like trailed him somehow, bugged him or spider tracered him or something. And that's how they bombed the drone factory. Now, whether or not they actually bombed the drone factory with Lindsey Graham in it and murdered him or not, I don't know. But there's a connection there, whether they did that or not. There's a connection probably to Lindsey Graham getting killed. Let's see. Let's do it this way. Get rid of their stupid question. There's a connection to Lindsey Graham getting killed and the drone factory getting blown up. Lindsey Graham could have been a Russian agent, pretending to be on Ukraine's side the whole time, so they'd be all buddy-buddy with them so he could spy on them. Or he was like somehow, that seems to be the most likely to me, honestly. Or he was somehow just so stupid he didn't get that Trump was working for Putin. He was like the one person that didn't get the wink or didn't, get the nudge, didn't understand that Trump was working for Putin. And he just genuinely didn't understand that. And I don't see any reason to believe that. So yeah, it's a little it's a little suspicious either way. Oh, what was funny? This person said, hold on. So far, this person has said a few things, and they said, I'm new here. Who is Lindsey Graham? What is a Trumper? Lindsey Graham sounds like an amazing person. Can we say a prayer for Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell? Laugh, laugh, laugh emoji. Was somebody else in the chat? I didn't. What was funny? Maybe it was something I said that was funny. I assumed you were laughing at yourself because um, maybe something I said was funny. Was it something I said? Was it something I said that you found hilarious? Can you repeat it in the chat? Can you repeat what I said that was so funny in the chat? Because I don't remember what it was. And if we're not laughing about this stuff, what are we doing here? What are we even doing here? Can you repeat it in the chat? What I said, the stuff. What was so funny? What was the funny thing? I like funny things. I would like to know what the funny thing was. If something funny was said, I'd like to hear it. What was the funny thing? Can you tell me what was funny? What was the funny thing? What's the purpose of the laughing emojis in the chat? Oh my gosh, it's Net and YouTube trying to save you. Net and YouTube says, have a favorite plant? Sure, let's do it. Let's do it, Net and YouTube. Have a favorite plant? Do you think it? Do you want me to say my favorite plant is Bob2GS19? Like seriously, dude. Like, what was funny? Go ahead and say it. Say what was funny. Just Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell being dead? I don't get the joke, dude. I missed the joke. What was the joke? It was something about Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell being dead. And that everybody who's covering it up is kind of a murderer. Like, if you're covering up someone's death or murder, then you're also kind of a murderer, right? So, that's a lot of murderers because a lot of people are involved in covering it up. Not just Lindsey Graham's death. Lindsey Graham's death, it seems to be a murder that, or an attack that is being covered up to protect Putin. Let's just put it that way. Seems like the people who are covering up Lindsey Graham's death are doing it to protect Putin. If you're covering up Lindsey Graham's death or the actual means of Lindsey Graham's death, oh, the monkey puzzle tree is your favorite plant? That's cool. If somebody's covering up Lindsey Graham's death or the murder of Lindsey Graham or the way that Lindsey Graham died, then they're kind of a murderer too, right? They're kind of helping the murderer, Putin. So it's kind of a chain of command. If anybody murdered Lindsey Graham, it's Putin. Because even if it was Trump or somebody in Trump's circle, Putin runs Trump. So if anybody murdered Lindsey Graham, it was Putin. The only possibility besides that is if Ukraine poisoned him because they found out he was a spy. But I think probably Putin. But I mean, even then, it's still Putin's fault. They wouldn't even have this war if it wasn't for Putin. So it's just Putin's fault. So Lindsey Graham was murdered by Putin, if he was murdered at all. He could have died of natural causes. But I think we've locked that in. Like, I mean, not that you guys were gonna be able to debate this. One of you was pretending that you'd never been here before, pretending that you never heard of Lindsey Graham before, but somehow bringing up Mitch McConnell or spelling Mitch McConnell's name correctly. It's just kind of weird. You spell Lindsey Graham both ways, with an A and with an E. I always thought it was with an A, but then I looked it up and it seemed to be with an E. Anyway, doesn't matter much. These people are lying about all these deaths. They keep lying about the people they keep killing in Iran in their unholy war. They killed their God in their unholy war because they proved their God is fake. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. I should really put on a shirt though. I should stop wearing this. Well, who cares? It doesn't matter. I'll read some of my book in this ridiculous outfit. It's the Little Book of Judas. And I'll read you a page right now. The world that Judas will make will be what the Church of Mary would have been, instead of spreading peace through the kingdoms, toppling them with the power of communal love. The false version of Christianity nurtured empires and raised tyrants. Do we blame Jesus for Hitler? Do we blame Jesus for Putin? Do we blame Jesus for Trump? No. We could, but we know in our hearts it is not true. Jesus is not to blame for them. Christianity is. We should blame Christianity for Hitler, Putin, and Trump, and many others, and this is clear evidence of how antichrist so much of so many churches are. It would be wrong and unfair to say the opposite of the churches is good and truly Jesus, because there are many good things about many churches, but it is completely accurate to say that the opposite of Trump, of Trumpism, is Jesus, because Trump is the Antichrist. So it is true that the opposite of all Trumpy aspects of all churches is Jesus. But the extent to which a church supports or condones or allows Trumpism is how Antichrist they are and how much they need to be replaced. There are so many terrible things about Trump being the Antichrist. Everything about him is bad and wrong. Okay. But therein lies the only good thing, not about him, but despite him, outside him, running away from him as fast as you can. Everything about Trump is evil, since he's the Antichrist. But the good thing about this is the complete opposite of everything Trump ever says, thinks, or does is Jesus. So you just have to think, say, and do the opposite of everything Trump does, says, and does, and thinks. And you are with Jesus. Jesus is on your side and believes in you, even if you don't believe in him, or care to know him as one of the many good spirits who are out there for you, who are there for you. Spoiler alert, it is all of us. And if you already disagree with Trump on everything except one or two things, then that is just a personal journey you must go on to overcome why you would ever agree with him. And Jesus can help you see why the opposite is true and good, or anyone good can help you do this. So, that's the Little Book of Judas by me, Andrew Harris. Hope you like it. I think it's really good. So I'll read you another random page from near the beginning. In a way, Jesus is pivoting, not even dignifying Judas' question with a response, telling him, if you think people of today knowing we are gay is a problem, wait until you see the real problems, what all these churches are going to do in my name. In another way, it is precisely because of homophobia and sexism that churches did go corrupt, because of patriarchy. So when Judas wonders and asks Jesus if they shouldn't turn down the gay, Jesus is responding that it is because they will do that. They will hide their sexuality to conform to society and patriarchy that the churches will go wrong. Because the disciples will form churches that will try to deny the feminine and kinds of love and conform to the world that demonizes them and is where corruption comes in. And we can see the fruition of all that and how central homophobia, transphobia, and sexism have been in the rise of Trumpism. Whoops. So I'm going to shut it down so this can post sooner. And we're not going to get to talk to anybody today, it looks like. As I've been acknowledging, the power structure and media has been completely on their side. Conservatives have been the only ones controlling the media and public perception of who Jesus even is. They have made it so embarrassing no one even wants to talk about Jesus, so you don't seem like one of them. And it just gets worse and worse for public perception of Jesus as the Trump Hooteniers get worse and worse. The only Jesus anyone ever even talks about is this Antichrist, and Trump is even posing pictures of himself that cause some blowback for a week or two. Then everyone is in line with accepting that when he calls himself Jesus, there's some excuse for it. Or that when they want to start a war with Iran and destroy Muslim holy sites to make a temple they have advertised it will provoke the return of Jesus, they have control over this narrative because this is the Christian prophecy they are ticking off the checklist to fulfill. They have decided their construction of a prophecy means things must go this way because they have an agenda behind it. And this agenda is why they constructed and interpreted the prophecy this way. Judas is a competing prophecy. The Judas prophecy makes their prophecy obsolete, obviously fake in comparison, and shows it is just super evil. Jesus did have a prophecy that is being fulfilled, and it is that Judas will replace all Christian churches, and in doing so will end war, patriarchy, and Trumpism. This prophecy comes directly from Jesus through Judas and whoever got it into written form, through me and you to change the world. They're not a bunch of different ideas put together by a bunch of different people at different times to come up with a prophecy like their prophecy is. They came up with the idea that Iran or some powerful country is the region that must be defeated in a war and a second temple raised to unlock the achievement of Jesus' return. Compare that with Jesus returns and replaces all churches and ends all war entirely. Which is a better prophecy? Which would Jesus do? So check out my book, Little Book of Judas, End patriarchy, Christianity, war, and Trumpism. To me, the Judas prophecy is more about the return of Jesus, because of returning Jesus to the church after such a long absence from the churches, because they kept Jesus out because they were unfit for him. They kept him out so Jesus was with the other people, like he was with the outcasts in life in the first place. And these good efforts outside the churches will be gathered together and seen for the Jesus they are, the love and truth they represent, just as he represents. Jesus never left and does not need theatrical wars and millions of deaths to sacrifice in order to call him back. That is just a sick fantasy, but one they will make come true, at least the killing part, if we don't stop them. That is the result of the Antichrist. The same people who destroyed the gospel of Judas and his side of the story, the same people who kept out of Scripture Jesus' clear command to stop sacrificing animals. Their concerns were the opposite of Jesus's. Their livelihood may have involved the sale of animals for sacrifice for something specific, and generally they need a scapegoat and a villain, a Judas, to be the seed of an outsider class, people who could not be trusted because of something about them, fill in the blank for whatever bias they need at the time, and then labeling whole groups as outside. Jesus is radically inclusive and what we might call communist. He's living signal that there is enough to go around for everyone. And the whole point is to include everyone. Many people who argue for communism point out it's never been tried because the ideals are for a global system. This is the same relationship of Jesus to the world. It literally does work best when everyone is in on it, the love and truth that Jesus is. But this doesn't mean the world must be converted to a restrictive and wrong idea of Jesus. It means the opposite. It means Jesus, like the goddess, is already in everything good. We can just relax into whatever understanding of that is most comfortable for us. There is not some protocol or list. Jesus is just truth and love, and everyone can know these and discover them however they want. And they can call truth and love Jesus or anything else besides or alongside Jesus. If your lover or favorite star is who keeps you in truth and love, then they are your own personal Jesus, and we are all potentially Jesus for someone else. Having our own names too and having us know love and truth by many names is just what the goddess wants. These ideas are still too big for many people, just as they are too big for the disciples of Jesus at the time. It was too much of a struggle for any of them to accept Judas, and maybe the women disciples, we just haven't heard from them, to understand that Jesus was from the goddess, not God, even though he probably wasn't keeping it a secret. All of the gender specificity in the other way is probably added in transmission. But the idea of no one left out and enough for everyone, the ideas of universal love and truth, have been around a long time, and some people have understood them throughout the ages. And today, even more people seem to be able to understand these bigger ideas. The more we talk about them, the more they catch on, the faster they will become reality, because they are our future. We will get to a future like this, and we can just make it happen sooner by increasing the belief in it, by talking about it, and connecting with others who understand it and turn new people onto it. There is no going back from knowing these things or considering these ideas. No one goes back to not being woke. We might as well go ahead and wake everyone up now and avoid the negative consequences of the most dramatic crash-out scenarios for Antichrist Christianity. We can replace patriarchy Christianity, replace Trumpism with the Church of Judas. Let's do it sooner than later. Let's end the evils of Trumpism so that we prevent the increasing suffering it's causing. We are already having all the conversations about the evils of patriarchy and war and Trumpism and Christianity. Let's bring all those conversations together with the solution of Judas to solve them all. Christianity has been tailored to enable war and capitalism and Trumpism all this time. Let's turn it inside out, repurpose it, and reverse course on all of these things. And then there's my jeweled sack analogy. If we see Christianity like a jeweled sack, the outside jewels encrusting it representing the rich and powerful churches and governments and corporations in this network in collusion with them. It's the glittering mainstream. The inside of the sack doesn't have these gems, but it's the functional part, the part that holds something. The other churches and even everyone else doing what they can to be good in the Christian culture run by oppressive hypocrites. When anyone sees Christianity or Christian culture, they see the jewels of how how these conservative and mainstream Christians present themselves. It's a pretty evil sight. And it's the most effective force at turning people away from Jesus, so they claim their goal is the opposite. And they don't see the inside of the sack, the good people making up these rich mega churches, or people in other churches, or people outside of church who live in the system. We can see Judas is revealing the sack, turning it inside out. Sorry, reversing the sack, turning it inside out. The hidden progressive fringe churches will lead the other churches in realizing the true meaning of Jesus. They will become the ones that people think of when they think of Christianity instead of the aggression and dominance and lies and hypocrisy formerly seen as the hallmarks of Christianity. All these churches, governments, corporations, networks that made up the old Christianity will be inside the sack, trapped in darkness. Their jewels, their riches won't be needed to gain attention inside in the dark, so they can be sold and given away to those outside the church whom the church has wronged. I use that analogy because Christianity can be turned inside out, so the glittering sack to fool people and separate the only good one from the outside can be repurposed and turned inside out into a useful sack, trapping the bad guys inside, but also redistributing their wealth like a sower throwing seeds from a bag. Till the church is reversed, it will still seem like an evilly bejeweled collection of organizations trapping everyone in its clutches inside. Anyway, God bless you, Mary, bless you, Mary, bless you, Mary, bless you, Jesus, bless you, Judas, bless you. I bless you. Bless yourself.